Okay, we've got a little bit more sculpting to go through. I need to show you guys a little bit more edge control, and then I want to show you a maquette process, and I have about a half hour, 45 minutes. How are you doing? Give me a shout out. Let me know. Are you tired? I'm looking for my model. So demo, which one is that? That's 02. All right. If you gotta run, don't worry. We cover synchronous and asynchronous learning. I love saying it like that. It sounds fancy. Alrighty, guys. Let's talk about the next phase. So let's do a quick recap. 30-second. We used move, clay buildup, masks, and smooth. And we got the bulk of form. But now the next thing that we as sculptors have to do is we got to learn how to use the knife tool. How do we get in and work edges? So knife plus edges is what I want to talk to you about next. How to really get control over your edge here, your edge here, cutting in areas, get the mouth into place. What are the tools you use and what are the features that make a difference? So the tools. Standard brush is actually an important tool here. /3, that's a really important tool. We can also be using masks to do a lot of this as well, depending on what our resolution is. And one of the most important is smooth. This is really important. And smooth with resolution levels. So you don't have to use resolution levels, but I'm going to show you the techniques and the process going up and down as we really work this edge and really try to get nice fine-tuned control. So let's show you the old school way of doing the mouth. I'm going to go down in resolution. I'm going to switch over here to the standard brush. So many of these brushes now. I'm going to adjust my draw size, just leave everything else at default. But I'm going to press Alt on the keyboard and push in. Now we had our topology talk, and it's kind of relevant for this next phase, which is why I wanted to put that up there. And that's because if you start to sculpt in the middle of these large polygon faces, you can, but it doesn't work when you're using something like the standard brush. And it doesn't work when you're using this lower subdivision level. It only works if you're using high subdivision levels and you're really going for that topology independent approach. If you're going to be doing this with the standard brush, this is like I'm demoing right now, you're going to want to keep that edge in mind. So when it starts to get out of control, like it is right now, you see how it's dropping down and down and down? I'll back up, switch over to the move brush, and I'll use the move brush to basically vertex model. If you're familiar with Maya or Max XSI, I'm moving vertice by vertice. And let's turn polyframe on so you can really see it. And I really work it. I'm going to make one topological line. I'm going to make the most out of it I can, but I have limitations. So it breaks down here, and it's going to break down as the lips cross. We're going to do our best, though. So this whole corner of the mouth is going to be an area that just you really have to deal with organized topology. And then let's look at it from a side view, and well, that's basically the lip. You may not want to make that one polygon that stretches down. You may want to make two. So instead of working this front one, I'm going to select the green line. And I'm going to use that as it. And I'll lower my draw size, and I'll press Shift to smooth that second row in. And we can use the standard brush to start to carve underneath there. Alt. Follow the topology line until you just can't anymore. So I followed it until I just needed to cross it. Do what you can to keep that intact. Okay, I'm using the standard brush again, crossing the line. And I'm going to cross I'm crossing the line right here. So first I need to use the move brush, and I'm using hotkeys right now just to be faster. To get it as much as possible. You see how everything's kind of just getting stretched right there. There we go. Okay, and a light smooth. It's not in the right place. That happens in almost every one of my demos because I'm teaching is really a different part of the brain. And I'm going to use the move brush, but then I'll press Alt and just push that corner in. And move it. There you go. And I'm pressing Shift and just tapping. Coming back to the standard brush. Okay. And we've really reached kind of an edge. We've done good. It looks okay from this distance, but we've reached a bit of a problem. We can't get more without going higher resolution. So this is really the topological question we were talking about before. In order for me to have more resolution, I got to have more pixels in my camera. To have a sharper edge, I got to have more pixels in my camera, or I've got to have more organization. I'm designing, so organization is out right now. So I'm going to go up a level, and I'm going to work from there. Now let me go into /3. So I'm going to press B for the brush pop-up. That's B as in boy. And then I press S because I want to select the slash brush. And then I'm looking for this little red number, LR3CIE, and I see 3 is the next key. This is a cool little trick. You press B for the brush pop-up, you press the first letter of the brush, so clay is C, and then B for build-up. BS3 for /3. Now some brushes have other ways of dealing with topology. Watch this brush. Let's turn RGB off so it doesn't confuse things. Let me turn polyframe off too. See how clean that is? That's a beautiful, pure, straight line. Wow. Even does good stuff here. It's a really fantastic brush. What's really important, one of the things that's really important to this brush, that algorithm is important, so it's the displace algorithm. And then if I remember right, it should have modifiers, it should have that set to 30, okay, which in this case should mean that it's going to be pinching geometry. Let's see if we can go higher and see that in effect. It should be pulling more geometry in so that I can kind of just really make that work. Did you see that black line just slowly start to be pulled in? That's because it's pinching the geometry in. And the genius of that is that if your stroke is this white line, as you move along that stroke, it's pulling the geometry in to help it maintain that hard edge. And that's all this guy right here. That's brush modifiers. All right, I'm really zoomed in right now, so I'm going to press F to frame it. I turn polyframe off. And so this brush is great at high and at low levels. But use it lightly. I'm just tapping on the surface. And I'm going to press Alt. Alt is going to switch from Z sub to Z add in this case. Okay, and in lower resolutions, you can kind of make more out of that. Still with me? It's really good for behind the ears, or the nose, and what they call the alar facial juncture. This little diamond in here, plastic surgeons call it that. Cut in, and then just smooth out. So I need to explain this a little bit. This is really important. So if you watch my screen, I want to explain one of the least explained parts of keeping hard edges. The white line represents the first stroke with /3. What does your green stroke, so the green stroke equals smooth, what is this going to do? Do you just take the green stroke over it, back and forth? You can, but that will immediately smooth everything out. What if instead you just smooth out one side of it, and then you smooth out the other side of it? And you leave that line right there perfectly clear. And sometimes you get right up to it. That's how you get nice clean edges with the slash, standard brush, and smooth. So let me explain it. So I pushed in some detail. And now I'm going to brush along here and brush along there. But never down that center, unless I want to lose the form. So smooth, smooth, and I'll smooth everything up to it, and then smooth and smooth. And have a nice clean edge. You can then just kind of tap it out in some places, and as you go up higher, it'll really help create a groove. Now it's a little inappropriate right here. That's just because I need to do the slash at a bit of a higher resolution. Let me get that nostril a little bit more realistic. Smooth that out because it's going a little crazy. And this might be a case for clay buildup, to go in and really just adjust the form. Nodule at the side of the mouth, following the muscle fibers, depressor anguli or triangularis. Okay, and then back to slash, so B, S, and 3. Smooth one side, smooth the other side, see if that works. And then you can smooth the higher resolution, and it'll have less of a dampening effect, because smooth has less effect at higher levels. Clay buildup, that's set to 5. Going a little crazy here, so I'm going to go and pull something I saw in William Maughan's book. Just treat the corner of the mouth as a donut. And that'll tend to organize all the form quite nicely and really create a nice pucker. So while those painters may not work with form like we do, structure I should say, the older guys, the traditional side of them is generally very analytical. Nice volume. All right, one more thing I want to explain here as I smooth this out is a trick I saw Chris Costa do that I thought was really important, and it's going to introduce you to one more brush. The Inflate brush. So let's just press B, press I for Inflate, and then I got to look for it. N. Take this really large and lower your Z intensity. I haven't talked about Z intensity. Let's set this to really high. See how it just goes nuts? Set that really low. You can really just move those lips together. Now this is obviously extreme, but what I wanted to show you is how you can just get a little bit of life, like in those nostrils, by just adding a little bit of inflate, a little bit of roundness to things. Just add a little bit more life to it. Okay. Smooth one side. Yes. All right. So we've talked about knife, edging. We've talked about the topology and how to get control of that. Now the next thing that's on my list is to start to talk to you a bit about kit bashing. But I think I can save that for later. What I want to do right now is share with you guys how to create your hotkeys, talk to you a little bit about edit mode, and then if you have anything else that you want to talk about, make sure you're letting me know. Throw it in the chat area, and then we're going to call it a day.